Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk a little bit about how to create tables in DynamoDB um, from AWS's Cloud9 service. So if we take a look, if you've already set up an environment, um, let me see here. Yeah, this looks like the right one. So if you already set up an environment, go ahead and make a Python file, and we can jump right into it. So there's a few things we want to start off with. We want to import, we're going to use time. So we're going to import time. We're actually going to be using the sleep function, and we're going to use Bodo3. So Bodo3 is like AWS's main package for dealing with different services like DynamoDB, S3 buckets, you name it, the list goes on. So we are going to start by creating a variable called Dynamo. You can name it whatever you want, and we're going to set it equal to Bodo3 resource, and then we're going to use DynamoDB here. Okay, so that's just our quick reference, so we don't have to type in Bodo3.resource DynamoDB each time we want to reference it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a function, or I'll define a new function, create table. And inside this function, we're going to create a new table in Dynamo. So here we can create a table, new table, and we'll set it equal to Dynamo. So we're going to reference this connection up here, and we're going to say, I think it's the create table. So Dynamo create table. And then we have some parameters to pass in, so we can pass in like table name, and you can set this equal, or you can set it equal to whatever you want, any kind of string. So we can name it courses, for instance, if we wanted to create a table about different classes you might be in. So we can list all our courses, and then we're gonna list the schema. So there's a key schema here, and this is going to be enclosed in brackets and curly braces, and we can define further an attribute name, and we're going to give it a key type. So we're going to say attribute name, and then we're going to do our colon. We could say course ID, this could be our key. And then we need a key type. So we're going to say key type, in all caps, so we're going to say hash. I think that's it for the schema. So then we can go down to attribute definitions. So after our block here, we're gonna say attribute definitions. We're gonna set it again in these braces. We can define again the key, right? So the attribute name is going to be course ID again, and then we can give it an attribute type. So we're going to say attribute name, say course ID, and then attribute type, and we can say n, it's a number. All right. And lastly for this, we can do, if you want, provision throughput. So like defining how many units for its read capacity, like how many units it'll read, and then how many units to write. So we'll go ahead and do that. So provisioned throughput, it's right there. We could say actually, I don't think this one is. We're just gonna do one here. We're gonna do read capacity units. Let's go ahead and set it equal to 5. Oh, here, sorry, I did that wrong. We're gonna do it like this, 5. And then we're gonna do write capacity units. So write capacity units will also be 5. Okay, that looks pretty good. So yep, we can go ahead and close this. This is going to be our table right here. And again, this is just the name of the table, and then we go over the schema, which is the key. So we're going to say this variable is going to be the key associated with the table, and here's the key type. We're defining the attribute. We're defining the data type of the attribute, and then we are defining the amount of read units and write units for this, I guess, for the table. So then we probably want to add items to our table, so we can do that manually. We could set up like a user interface to take input, make sure the input, verify that it's the right type, the data type, make sure it's the right size, those things. But for now, in this video, I think we're just going to go ahead and hard code some of the items that we want to add in there. So we can create, or we can define a new function. So I'm going to define add items. And in here, so here we will add items to recently created table. It's always great to comment out your functions. So we're gonna search for our table in Dynamo. This is gonna be the first thing we want to do. So to do that, we can call it table. We can name this whatever you want. This is going to be the reference to our table in Dynamo database. So table equals Dynamo. So this is our what we've defined up here is this connection. So it equals Dynamo dot sorry about that. It's going to be Dynamo dot table. And then whatever name we input for the, so we use courses, right? We're going to create a table about courses. And then we can start, there's a lot of ways to do this. I think I'm going to use single quotes here. There are a lot of ways to do this. You could start by, let's say you want different entries. So you could do like class 1, right? So we call it class 1, and we can set it equal to like a small array. So in here we could do maybe the course number is, you know, course 1000, and then let's say the class is like comm. I don't know, maybe you're in a comm class. Then we can maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's an upper level course. It's comm 450 or maybe 350. Okay, and then we can give, I don't know, the name of the class. So communication theory, for example. And then let's say we want to say how many credits it's worth. It's worth 3 credits. Okay, so we could do that. And then we can create a few of these. So let's say you want to copy this. Ooh, I missed one there. Let's say we're enrolled in 4 classes right now. So we have class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. So maybe this is 2003, 1002, and this could, I don't know, 1450. This could be, maybe you're in an Arabic class. So you're taking Arabic 111, introductory Arabic, which is worth 3 credits. Maybe we're in a philosophy class. Maybe we're in an upper level philosophy class. This is philosophy of bioethics. So we have that class there. And then finally, let's do like, I don't know, CMIS. We can do a computer science class. And let's call it, I don't know, intermediate Python. Sure, okay. So now we have 4 entries. So let's say, like I said, there's a lot of ways we can do this. We can make another array of entries. So these are like, we could call it classes. So classes, so we could put class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4. Okay. And then like 4 in classes, you can individually add the items to the table. So for class in classes, right? And then we're going to use, we can define add equals, and then we're going to reference our table right up here, our table that we searched and found after we created it in Dynamo. We're going to say add equals table dot, I think the function is put item. So we're going to put item. Put item, I think it's like this. And then we're going to define the items. So they're all going to be of the same type, right? So we're going to say maybe item is going to be equal to, and then we're going to have all our parameters. So here we have course ID. Here. It's a string, right? So course ID is, and then we're going to define which part of each class that's passed in, which part of the array or which position in the array that variable is assigned to, or that that entry in the database is assigned to. So we're going to give them, for instance, this would be equal to say class position 0. I think we use a comma with this notation. Yep, it's comma out. Okay, so then the next one could be, what's the next one we have? So course ID would be like 1000, 2003, 1002. And then we're going to do class name. So that's going to be, or we could do, yeah, class name. That'd be like com, Arab, fill, CMIS, and then we're going to do class number. This would be equal to class 2. And then we can do class title. And then credit value. Make sure you start with 0 on this, obviously. You should know that. Start counting at 0. And then I think it's, we can call it there, we can end it there. So what do we have up here? We have an error. Let me look. Key schema. Invalid syntax. Forgetting a comma right here. That should be it. And a comma right here. Okay. For class and classes. Let's use a different name here instead of class. For entry, let's just use entry. So then we can change all these to entry. Let's copy that. Okay, we should be good. So, yep, so for each item, so for each entry in classes, right? So for each class, we add to this table here. We put item, and all these items are put into these spots respectively. So if you were to enter this information in one of these in a different order, it would get mixed up. Like if you had, like the class name was the first thing, for instance, it would try to put it in the course ID, which we defined up here as a number. So it's not going to work. It's going to break. So I think that's good though. And then we can, so we haven't defined main. So we can define main, and then what we want to do is call these functions. So we're going to call create table. And then this is where we want to use where we imported time. You remember I said we were going to use time.sleep. So we're going to wait a moment just to make sure that after we create the table, we're able to search, or like immediately search afterwards and find the table. Since we're doing both of those things in this one function, which realistically you'd want to do, and I don't know why you'd want to do this anyway, but you'd want to do it in a separate function, right? You wouldn't want to create a table and then search for that table in the same program. That wouldn't make a lot of sense. But just for simplicity's sake, so then we're going to call, so that's why we're adding the sleep. So then we'd want to add items. So we're going to add these items to our table. So that looks good. I think that's good to go. And then obviously if name is main, right? If name is main. Okay. So this is pretty standard. You should all know what that means. So okay, so it should be good. So here we can go to so searching the directory, I'm going to change directory cd into Dynamo. If you didn't know, you can tab to finish searching that name. So there's create tables. So we're going to say Python create tables.py. And we don't have an error message. So then over here, I'm going to go to Dynamo. We can refresh this page. Always forget to save, guys. Do not forget to save. So here's our courses table. And in here we can view the items in the table. So here's all our classes. Course ID being the key here. Thanks for watching. Hope I have more soon.